What's up, guys? Welcome back to the first episode of the Dapper Ape podcast. My name is Soorya Parameswaran.
And I'm Mark Eglseder.
And together, we've been deeply involved in crypto for the past 3 to 4 years. So we thought, what better way to share our ideas than make a cool podcast? So this was the birth of the Dapper Ape podcast. And from us, you can expect weekly news and discussions about crypto, Web3, and NFTs. So our goal is to keep you updated every week with what's happening in crypto so that you don't have to do the DYOR. Damn, that sounds bad, huh? Still do your DYOR, but we'll just provide that extra sprinkle on top.
Yeah, exactly. So the format that we're going to be doing this by is we're going to be going over about 5 to 7 different news items at the beginning of every episode so that you know what's coming up. And then we'll delve into each of those topics for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And then about 2 of the topics we're going to focus on, and we'll give those about 5 minutes of our attention, just to give you guys the inside scoop on what's actually going on in these different cryptos.
So without wasting any more time, let's get started with this week's topics. So the first topic for this week is actually one of my favorite, and it's how DeGods turned their creator royalties down to 0%. Now, if you don't know what creator royalties are, NFTs have a transfer tax for each time they're buy, sold, or traded. And this transfer tax is how most NFT projects make a majority of their revenue. Now, DeGods, which is the number one NFT project on Solana, 2 days ago, they announced that they're setting their royalties to 0%. Now, this means they're giving up like $50,000 to $150,000 of revenue per day that they used to earn. Now, this is a crazy decision by them, and it has very, very vast implications for all throughout Solana. But before I get into that, Mark, what do you think about this?
I think it's a massive change. So I think it might be difficult for other people to follow these steps. And I know some people were saying like, oh, if a project doesn't have their royalty set to 0%, I won't buy them. I'll just avoid them. And I think that's kind of goofy personally, because for most projects, this is their main source of recurring income. They can't afford to do this. So DeGods has a bit of an advantage with their Dust token, which they sell to like hundreds of different projects that just completely run on their ecosystem. So they have other ways of earning money, and they already earned like $100,000 a day for months. So they already have money saved, giving them the opportunity to do this, and they were given hundreds of millions of dollars by VCs.
Last month, they just got $7 million with over $100 million valuation. So they raised $7 million last month. Right after that, they were able to sell out the Youths collection, which gave them another couple million. And they've also been collecting tens of thousands of dollars a day. So for a project that has a huge war chest, it might be easy to make a decision like this, or it might make sense. But for the rest of the ecosystem, it might not make sense to follow suit, right? Because for DeGods, especially like Mark was saying with the Dust Labs, a majority of their future income or their expected income comes from services they provide to other NFT projects. So Dust Labs is now creating like staking platforms, proof of work platforms, like multiple services that they go and plan to sell to other NFTs. So like a B2B model to raise money. So that's why the VCs invested in them, and that's their plan of growth. But this may not be true for, yeah.
And I was going to say, this kind of brings us to the discussion of how this might actually split the NFT market into 2 different segments. Because they have a B2B model, and they're able to generate funding with their Dust token. So they're almost like a product side. They're the side that's going to be supported by VCs most commonly. They sell something to make money, not emissions. But I think there will always be those community-oriented projects who will need these royalties to keep moving, to keep providing benefits to their holders. Because something like Cats on Crack, I would say, is on a different side of the spectrum, because one of the main benefits to owning these is the marketing potential you can get by being a part of that community. I think that's completely different, and I think projects that are more focused on things like that, more focused on this community aspect, will remain what we view as the old-fashioned NFTs, where the community's everything. It's almost like a cult mentality. But what DeGods is doing is, I think they're starting a trend of something that'll go in the complete opposite direction of that, but I think DeGods themselves is doing it perfectly, because they still have that community side. They've been established in the space, but now they're going to come in with this, but this gives them both sides of the product and the social side.
Talking about this split that this creates in the ecosystem, Charlie Munger, who's one of the very famous investors along with Warren Buffett, he was saying that there's 2 types of business in the world: a value-based business and then also a lifestyle-based business. And something like Cats on Crack and something like Bored Ape Yacht Club is more of like a lifestyle-based business, where something like now what DeGods is trying to be is a value-based business. And like a value-based business basically sells products, while a lifestyle-based business basically has like 1 or 2 influencers or someone leading it, or it might be like people brought together by a common mantra. It could be like these cult type NFTs we see. So that's that general split we see in the market these days.
And a question for you, do you think that these cult-style, old-fashioned NFTs, as we might want to call them, will stick around even when these product-filled ones start coming into the market more and more?
So I don't want to give my opinion. I want the users to make their own opinion, but I will say this: in general, in the business world, product-based businesses make much more money than lifestyle-based businesses. Value-based businesses make much more money than lifestyle-based businesses, and that's just, it's easier to scale, and it's also easier to sell it off to someone else.
Yeah, I completely agree there. I think one thing that this is going to bring us to, it's going to bring us to something we'll talk about a little bit later, is all of these huge players coming into the space, like Visa and DreamWorks and Walmart. Like all of these massive names, I think we'll focus more on the product side, but I think there will always be a spot for the other projects that are more focused on this lifestyle-based decisions.
Yeah, the thing with the lifestyle brands too, I'll leave this as a final thought before we hop on to the next segment, but the thing with the lifestyle brands too, like stuff like Cats on Crack, their community is so strong with these lifestyle-based businesses that even in times of despair, like when the market goes down, their floor price is holding pretty strong. So the community-based businesses have the benefit of, even when times are tough, the community just doesn't dissipate overnight. Where in the value-based or product-based businesses, people could choose not to buy something because the market is doing bad. So yeah, with the community-based businesses, there's that emotional factor that makes people act on it too. So now let's move on to the next topic for today. Mark, do you want to get that?
Yeah, for sure. So the next topic we're going to hit today is more on the security side of cryptocurrencies. So you guys might have heard that last Wednesday, Binance was hit by a $570 million hack through their cross-chain bridge, the BSC token hub. Fortunately, they were able to recover all but about $100 million in BNB, but that's still $100 million was stolen of BNB right out from under their noses through this cross-chain bridge. So I'm wondering what
I was reading on the Binance website that the only reason they were able to get back the money, the 400 million, was because of validators on the network. So now there's a lot more validators being added, not only to the Binance, but also to Solana and other networks. So the importance of validators was made clear by this hack.
Yeah, so I remember reading into it a little bit, and basically the hackers were able to convince these cross-chain bridges, which are known to be a weak point for hackers to exploit in these different chains, they were able to convince this blockchain converter, essentially, that these tokens were their own. So the hackers were able to do this. I have no idea how they're able to do it up to $500 million. Okay guys, and then this takes us to our next topic of Bitcoin SV, which is a full node implementation for Bitcoin Cash. They're actually releasing their blacklist manager soon, which will allow them to recover or freeze lost or stolen tokens if things like this Binance hack took place with their Bitcoin Cash. So one of the things they've quoted is, imagine if a thief stole gold and it turned to lead. Then if they give it back, it turns to gold again. So I just think like this is a crazy concept. Like it lets you actually recover stolen tokens on the blockchain. I think this could be absolutely huge for security on other chains if they decide to follow this. What do you think about this on something like Solana?
Yeah, I think something like this has to be implemented in Solana because just the amount of rug pulls and scams and stuff that happens on Solana because of the low gas fees. But not only that, I mean, we also have to look at Solana as a blockchain. This past year, they had 12 or 13 downtimes, which if we want Solana to go into mainstream adoption, something like that is unacceptable. But I will give Solana the benefit of the doubt though, even with such terrible downtimes, and like the last time they were down, which was like last week or something, they took 16 hours to put it back up. So it was like 6 hours of no transactions on Solana. So there was 0 transactions, 0 blocks getting created, and that's a long period to have your entire ecosystem go down.
Yeah, I think I remember the issue was that somehow it started to create duplicate blocks. So for a while, the blockchain was just picking between the two blocks, and eventually it hit a fatal error that made it just stop producing blocks completely. Which, they said that this has been patched, but this has also happened other times, so I'm kind of wondering if they'll stay stable, but still their NFTs have been doing far better than I would have expected with this still going on. What do you think about that?
Their NFTs are actually shocking. Like I saw a statistic, let's see, yeah, it was like this September, unique buyers on Solana compared to all other blockchains. So like the percentage of NFT sales compared to other blockchains shot up the most. So actually, compared to NFT sales on all other blockchains, Solana is number one now, which the case used to be, it was Ethereum. So even in the bear market, I see a lot of people going into Solana, and especially Solana is shining in this bear market. But I don't know if it's going to last past the bear market to the next bull season when Ethereum gets a spotlight again. What do you think?
See, I think with Ethereum 2.0, this could majorly change everything. Because now the fees are going to be lower, and if projects come in with lower priced NFTs, they might be able to appeal to Solana's market, which is usually buyers that don't want to buy, a $700 NFT. They're normal people that want to buy maybe like a $70 NFT. But with lower fees, and I think if some projects on Ethereum adjust, I think they might be able to overtake Solana again as the number one NFT trading platform, because they have the advantage. Many of the first large NFT projects were on Ethereum, like Cybercoms. You just have like so many of the big ones, like Bored Ape Yacht Club. They already exist. They're what give NFTs their name. And I think when new projects, like large ones, especially those product-focused ones that VCs fund with hundreds of millions, I think they'll choose the chain that has the most classic support. I think they'll go with Ethereum still, and I think it'll come back as number one.
Yeah, I think in the long run, I'm bullish on Ethereum as number one. But I also think that with Solana given the right amount of attention, it could overtake Ethereum in certain segments like maybe like degen NFTs or something like that, where for a lot of people Ethereum, there's a barrier to entry. You can't even trade on some of the gas fees, but thanks to like you were speaking about the layer 2 merge and stuff, if all this plays out perfectly, then I do see Ethereum continuing to hold that number one position all across the board.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think it really just depends on what steps Solana themselves is going to take, or just how much. I think if we can get some of the larger players, the ones that are VC funded like DeGods, I think if more of those types of projects start going with Solana, it might create a trend of like the newest forms of NFTs, the one doing the newest breakthrough things, having a trend of going on Solana. So I think they could overtake Ethereum completely if this happens, if they set a trend of pulling in the most innovative projects and the projects with the most funding.
Alright, so now that we've talked about the Solana downtimes and Bitcoin SV, let's move on to our next topic for today, which I want to talk about Walmart and their new metaverse. So Walmart actually created Walmart Land and the Walmart Playverse, which are two metaverses inside the Roblox universe. So Walmart decided to step into the metaverse without including crypto at all. So they didn't want any cryptocurrency token or nothing related to the blockchain involved yet. They just wanted to explore the metaverse concept itself to get in tune with Gen Z and to just get ahead of the game to building their own metaverse. So they created these two unique worlds. There's actually 3 places you can visit total inside 2 unique worlds, and one of them is just you can just go and look at everything, and the other one, which is the Walmart Playverse, it's more of an interactive type world where you can actually go and play. I've seen the graphics for both. It's like this high-end poly style, but I haven't been able to play it. What were you saying, Mark?
Are you able to like shop for things located in Walmart stores just like through this metaverse?
So the products inside the Walmart Land are not identical to the product inside the store. So right now, I feel like they're just creating it. Also, the Walmart Land doesn't look like a Walmart at all. So like, it's just a metaverse owned by Walmart. That's what it is right now.
Yeah, it would be kind of interesting if they had a way that you could like shop for things on Walmart.com in the metaverse, even though of course it would just be way harder than just doing it in person and going on the website. Yeah, that sounds so much easier.
The future shopping can be replaced by virtual reality, but personally I like walking in and actually seeing what I'm buying. Like,
yeah, I do too.
Especially with like technology or stuff like that, or even if it's a tomato, I want to make sure it's a good tomato.
Yeah, like with the delivery groceries, I've gotten some bananas that I'm just like, why would you pick these ones? So I just like going through the store and being able to pick it out myself.
This is completely off topic, but Amazon and Whole Foods, they do a great job of picking good fruits. Usually
they really do. They do a pretty good job. But to get back on topic, another big player that just jumped into the metaverse, this is more on the NFT side, but Vox and Gala Games just made a partnership with DreamWorks. I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but this is like huge to me because they're obviously one of the biggest players in the film industry. And now with Vox and Gala Games, they're starting to create Trolls avatars for their metaverse. So Gala Games and the Voxverse will be able to have these troll characters made by DreamWorks. So the quality of these avatars is just like out of this world. And this is just like, wow, the players with so much money are going into the metaverse. It has to be going somewhere.
Yeah, I think we need to see these bigger players get in so that the metaverse stops looking like some 98 trash game. Like literally, it looks like Minecraft, but not even the good kind. It looks like Minecraft version 0.0.
Yeah, it's not like you have shaders or anything. It's just Minecraft. Just like base Minecraft with a simplified shader.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't even know why some of these are called metaverses. They should just be called shitty video games.
Yeah, seriously. I think the metaverse I'm dreaming of, like the Ready Player One metaverse, I think we probably have like 20 years till we get to it, but it's gonna be awesome.
See, the metaverse I'm dreaming of, it's not like a metaverse owned by Facebook, a metaverse owned by Google. It has to be one thing. Like everyone builds together on one thing. Like the internet is kind of like one thing, even though everyone has their own websites, right? So it has to be something similar to that. There can't be like Internet 2 or something. So right now it's like there's Metaverse 1, Metaverse 2, Facebook has their Metaverse, Walmart has their Metaverse. I think all of these things, either they have to be combined, or I think maybe in 5-10 years we'll rediscover and redefine what a Metaverse is. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah, I completely agree. Or just one group might take over. Like if a metaverse comes in that's just so good and so realistic that other people decide to start building off of that, I think either that will happen or the metaverse will just get completely redefined.
People are expecting Meta, Facebook, to be that metaverse since they changed their name to Meta. So,
but if we're talking about the topic of being able to go into like a Ready Player One metaverse, this brings me to the idea of, have you heard about decentralized identities? It's like a way for you
we've discussed about it before, but can you retouch upon the topic?
And this also brings me to the idea of decentralized identities, because I was just talking about this big Ready Player One metaverse. So these decentralized identities can be issued to you by these different organizations, so like schools, hospitals, different very trusted groups can issue these verified credentials so that you can prove who you are in the metaverse. But it's really interesting because it still protects your actual identity. It's not like you're walking around with your name on a big platter or something, but if you're a doctor and for some reason need to prove that in the metaverse, there's a way to get verified credentials that will actually prove that you have these skills. So I think that's a huge step in letting the metaverse actually define who you are, so you can define who you are in the metaverse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like even more than proving you're a doctor, a lot of these NFTs look the same. Like the only difference is their eye color is different or something. So maybe you might think you saw this guy inside this universe, but it might not be that same person. So I feel like a DID, the decentralized identity, could help you identify who's using this avatar. Because it could be like a copy, or it could be like, just like I said, the eye color could be different, or like one accessory could be different, and it's a different NFT already. So
it's almost like it's your username, but it can go in between these metaverses as we decide which one's going to become big, or if in some way, somehow, these metaverses all merge. I think these decentralized identities could become absolutely essential to keeping track of who different people are, what information they can access in these metaverses as the metaverse world expands, especially in like research.
The way I kind of understood this decentralized identities is by comparing it to like the blue check mark on Twitter. So like once you see the blue check mark, you know, oh yeah, this is Snoop Dogg, it's the real account. So just like that, when you see someone walking around the metaverse with a skin and you see his DID, you're like, oh yeah, this is for sure Cosmo Demichi or whoever it is.
It's like a username, but you can prove it's actually you if they ask. But it's not just like always displayed. You have to choose to present it, so it still protects your privacy, which I really like. I think that's gonna be awesome. I'm too excited for Ready Player One. But I don't want to get too focused on that topic because we got to move on, unfortunately. But did you hear about Visa? They actually made 2 different partnerships recently. So one of them was with FTX, so it'll let you spend funds in your FTX account just from your debit card. And this is for like over 40 different countries. So you have to use your FTX account though. And this already exists in the United States, just to throw that out there, but this just makes it so much more widespread. So I think that's awesome. It's just a huge partnership.
Also, just a side note, the amount of growth FTX has experienced in the past 2-3 years, immense. Like when we studied at Case Western, you remember Gregory Harmon, right? He told us about FTX before it was huge. He was like, FTX is going to be huge, guys. Invest in their native token, invest in FTX. But dude, I didn't see them expect. Now they have like $100 million fund just for NFTs. Like they're giving out $100 million to random NFT projects as startup funds and like incubator funds.
I think they're going to be I think they will be one of the biggest players worldwide, especially.
I think they're going to give like Crypto.com and like Coinbase a run for their money. I think they're going to be number one, honestly. Like they have a good chance at being number one.
And then Visa actually partnered with someone else too. I think this was a few days after. Have you heard of ShopNext? I never heard of it before.
Is it like Shopify or something, or?
I think it's kind of something like that. It's basically a platform, but what they're doing is with your debit card, you're able to earn tokens. So it's like a spend to earn, not gain, but experience. So if you go to like Walmart or something and spend it with your Shop Next card, you earn these tokens that go straight to your crypto wallet. So it kind of like merges the world of crypto and just regular spending.
So it's like credit card rewards, but you get a token instead.
Yeah, basically.
Something tells me no matter how legit it is, I'd rather get some reward from like my credit card company than from a random crypto company sending.
Yeah, just a random crypto token. Like, oh,
dude, I've received too many random crypto tokens. I'm good.
Thanks for the Chuck E. Cheese bucks. You can have them. Okay, guys, and now we'll switch over to our next segment, which is actually a few different things in politics. So to start, India is releasing a digital rupee. They actually sent out like a 50-page essay the other day on exactly what they're doing, but essentially they're digitizing their main currency, which I think is massive because India is what, like the largest planet on Earth?
It's second largest, but it's competing for the largest very soon.
Yeah. So I just think this is like, that's huge.
Yeah, I think countries like digitizing their currency is an essential step to like stop stuff like corruption and like scams and stuff like that. Because like a benefit to something like this is, I know like last week or something, it was like the Celsius filed for bankruptcy, and Celsius executives took out like $42 million from the company right before bankruptcy was filed. So if a country was using digitized currency, like a digitized rupee or a digitized dollar, like USD Tether or something, but the Fed coin, then we could easily track every single penny and where it went, and we could easily backtrack to see where exactly this 42 million was spent instead of it being sent to random offshore accounts.
Imagine if they had the security system like BSV, but with a digital rupee. So if someone steals money, you can literally just make it worthless.
By the time they make Fedcoin or a digital rupee, it's not cryptocurrency anymore, because they centralize it so much to the point where crypto is lost out.
It's just digital. It's just digital currency.
It becomes PayPal. That's it's money on your screen.
No idea. And then this actually brings me sort of to the next topic. So with the rupee going digital, it shows how massive of a role digital cryptocurrencies, well not crypto, digital currencies are playing in these larger economies. And the EU actually placed a sanction on Russian crypto accounts recently. I think this was like last week. But the reason this is so important is because they already cut them off from digital payment systems. So cryptocurrencies became one of the main forms of payment in Russia, which Russian exchange accounts just got completely banned from. They just got frozen, everything frozen. So that's just massive, because now their main payment system is just gone, just from sanctions.
Speaking of sanctions, did you see how the FOC published a 120-page paper regarding Biden's opinions on crypto and what actions the government would take regarding crypto regulation?
I heard that finally came out. I know we've been waiting for that for like all year just to see what they're gonna say, and they don't actually like make these regulations, like they can't enact them. So they actually need to like propose it to Congress, and this is basically just like their argumentative paper. But I've been meaning to read it. I haven't yet, but it's just sort of the directions they're hoping to take with crypto regulations in the United States, which they're just, I don't remember exactly what they're calling for, but they're trying to make it much more straightforward. I'm really interested to see if Congress will actually listen to any of it, or if they'll just be like, la 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 la.
Speaking about the Biden administration, Congress, and crypto regulation, a lot of economists are actually speculating that on November 9th, the United States, like the Congress, will switch from Democratic domination to a Republican domination. And once that happens, the US government will kind of go into a gridlock where Biden can't really pass any law he wants, and it'll be much, much slower, like the process of getting a law passed and getting it approved. So what usually happens when the government goes into such a gridlock is the stock market shoots up and then crypto follows. So a lot of economists are speculating that although right now we're in a bear market, and that probably for the next 2 years we're going to see downwards price action, between November 9th and the second quarter of 2023, we can see a positive relief rally. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm really, really hoping, man.
Double fingers crossed, even my feet.
Yeah. Regardless of how it goes politically, I'm just hoping we get a little relief in price.
Just a little relief rally, come on.
Let me pretend that I have money again, please.
I'm not gonna sell though. Write it down again.
Hodl, dude, diamond hands.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into the first episode of the Dapper Ape podcast. We hope we were able to add at least a little bit value to your day. We'll see you next week when we have new and exciting topics in crypto, NFTs, and Web3.
All right, thanks, guys.
Peace.